It's Wednesdays with Wade. San Antonio Brahmas head coach Wade Phillips joins the Blitz every Wednesday for an inside look at your San Antonio Brahmas. Now, here's the Blitz with Wade Phillips.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 as San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix, joined on the Buyers Barricades guest line by the head coach of the playoff-bound at San Antonio Brahmas, Wade Phillips, joining us now. Coach, how's your Wednesday?
Good, yeah, that playoff-bound sounds good.
It does sound good. Now, before we get into our conversation, because at the bottom of the hours, we're getting people qualified all week like we were last week to win 3-day wristbands to ACL Music Festival weekend 2. You can't answer this question, but you created this question. You gave us all a layup, Coach, so I appreciate it. The other day, and if you first person to tell Pledge the right answer here at 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776, you'll be qualified for those ACL wristbands. Wade tweeted the other day, the 75th year of Phillips coaching will begin this year, of Phillips coaching in the NFL. Here's the layup. Who are the three Phillips that are coaching or have coached in the NFL? The kicker, who's the current one in the NFL, and where is he working?
Aha.
Mm-hmm.
You know that one, Coach.
Good one.
Yeah, you can't answer.
I know. I think 2 out of 3 I know for sure.
Exactly. Well, that's 3 more than Reinagel knows.
Well,
so,
you know.
I mean, that's how it goes. It was a lot of fun at the game on Sunday, but then on Monday, you and a bunch of the players stayed in San Antonio. You guys came by the radio station. I know because we do this every week. It was nice for you to kind of sit in the back and let the players get the spotlight. How fun was it for you to actually stay in San Antonio overnight and get around the city and do a lot of events?
Yeah, it's fun. We want to represent San Antonio the right way, and we want to be a part of San Antonio as much as we can. And for the players to do that, I think it's really special. We went to schools, we went to the military base, which we're having a military weekend this weekend. We want to be a part of San Antonio. That's who we represent.
And, Coach, what's interesting about that is the players that we had in here, they were excited to be here, not only to be here in San Antonio, to stay the extra day, but they were just telling us about every stop that you guys made and how much fun it was to meet a bunch of different folks.
Yeah, we met kindergartners to generals. So it was a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. You know what I learned from the guys that were in studio that I was just unaware of, and I guess it's naive on me, but I'd assume a lot of people are thinking the same thing. In a hub city, the way the spring leagues have gone, I thought all you guys were kind of staying in one hotel or an area of hotels and just kind of living that way, and apparently that's not the case. So for you to get to spend time with these guys doing events like that, did you learn anything about the players that got to hang back and go on all those visits and tours on Monday in San Antonio?
Well, we meet together every day, and I talk to the team every day, so I know those guys pretty well. So, and in training camp, we all are in the same hotel, and so all our meetings obviously are together. So, we have a lot of camaraderie with the team itself. I do, and every day just practices and meetings.
All right, Wade, let's get to the game last week. You guys just find ways to win, it seems like. And the first half was good, struggled a little bit offensively perhaps in the second half, but you find ways to win. And I think that's been the beauty of this team all season long.
Yeah, we've been through we hadn't had many games that we couldn't win, and won most of them that we had a chance to.
Wade Phillips joining us here on the Blitz, head coach of the playoff-bound San Antonio Brahmas. Coach, last week, let's go back. The previous game, you bench Quentin and you get the win down in Houston. You come back and you tell us last week Quentin's going to be the starting quarterback. You're going with the guy. And I know on like the Facebook page and some people tweeting saying, what are you doing, coach? And you know your quarterback, you know your personnel. And we've talked about armchair quarterbacks and second guessing coaching. What was it about the decision? Because obviously the way he played, especially in the first half, that offense was rolling, that gave you the confidence to stay with him as the starting quarterback.
Well, like I said, I'm around these guys all the time. I feel I know them as a person and as a football player. I knew Quentin was going to come back. He's a fighter. He had some technical things he really needed to work on. Some of his footwork and things like that were hurting him. We worked on those things, and he dedicated himself to coming out and playing a good game. And you find out a lot about players in those situations. I think I told you Lovett fumbled in the other game, and then had to have the football to score against Memphis. Quentin's the same way. I mean, he had a tough game, but he's going to fight back, and I knew that. So, and I said going in that he was going to have a good game, and he had a great game. He was 17 for 25 for over 300 yards passing. So, against the team that they hadn't won many games, but their pass defense was not bad at all. So he had a great game.
Yeah, he did. Now, Chase Garbers seems to be healthy now. I saw where he was activated. Do you have to make a decision on, do you lose a job because of injury? You get healthy. Does Chase get the job back?
Well, I don't think you lose your job because of injury, but I do think you have to come back from that injury, and he's practicing this week, and we'll see where he is. I do expect him to play, but I also expect Quentin to play too. So I just don't think you could bring Chase back and just say, hey, okay, you play a whole game when you hadn't played in, so many weeks. So, we're looking at him in practice. He's working his way in. Quentin's still working hard. So, we'll see where we are at the end of the week and see how much playing time that Chase will play, or if he's not ready to play, we'll see.
Well, Wade, if he is ready to play, how does that work out? I mean, do you just see something or a situation maybe in the game this week that you think that one quarterback might be a little bit better for the situation at hand? Is it that simple maybe?
No, it's more timing with the quarterback. If he's got his timing with the guy coming back in his situation that hadn't played in a while. He's probably maybe the highest percentage completion guy in the league when he went out. So we're looking at those things in practice these days, and see if he's, it's like a baseball pitcher. I guess you're out for a long time. See how rusty he is coming back, and but he gets these practices to see where we are, and that's where we'll go from there.
Coach, I trying to think of the right way to phrase this to where I don't get the death stare from a coach as we visit with Wade Phillips here. But the playoff is clinched, right? Knocking off Birmingham and handing them a loss. Obviously, that's a goal, and winning and all that. But knowing this game does not impact playoff standings, does that allow you to be I don't want a little bit more creative, like, all right, Chase, it's been a while, so let's see what you've got, because the loss doesn't keep you out of the playoffs. I don't want to say it's a game that doesn't have any meaning on playoff standings.
Yeah, it doesn't have any meaning on standings, but it does have a meaning on, if we win the last two games, we play at home. And I think that's a big, especially in San Antonio, I think we would get a huge backing from our crowd playing at home in the playoffs. I can't think that wouldn't happen.
Wade, playing a team like this coming in that is undefeated and obviously a good football team as you're heading toward the postseason, do you like having that kind of a matchup as you get your team ready for the playoffs?
Yeah, I want to play against the best and see where we are, and they're definitely the best team record-wise in the league. So, but they hadn't played us.
They
I love that.
they haven't played at you guys. When as you're preparing for this Birmingham Stallions team, and you know they're 8-0, but they've had some games that were close, that could have gone either way. What jumps out on film for you, especially from the defensive side, to keep them out of the end zone?
Well, like I said, they're leading the league in offense in almost every category, especially scoring. They scored over at least 30 points the last 4 games. I mean, it's hard to get 30 points in this league, and they're scoring it every game. So it'll be a real test for our defense. But like I say, we feel like we can play defense, so we'll see what happens.
Wade, do you see any difference in practice this week thus far? I mean, the guys, obviously they were excited when they were in here, liked the matchup. They took it. It's just another game. Is there any difference in practice, or is it just another day?
I think there's always a difference. The closer and closer you get to the end of the season where you have a chance to achieve your goals, I think it needs to go up another level. And, that's what I see us doing here at the last of the year.
Well, and getting healthy, obviously, with Chase getting healthy, Coach, but also last week getting Anthony McFarland back. And, man, what a difference he made with his speed. How much better is that Brahmas offense as you go down the stretch now? That was one game back. I don't know if he showed any rust to you on film, but just having McFarland back for you guys.
Yeah, he's electric. We knew it all week that he was healthy, and he's a touchdown maker. I mean, he can score from anywhere at any time in the game, and we have some good backs. John Levitt is 9 yards from leading the league in rushing himself. So, and Ellison's a real strong runner too. So we like our backs. But Anthony gives you a different dimension. He's the first back this year to go over 100 yards receiving in a game. So he gives you that double threat.
Well, you got to like the focus. I was certainly impressed with the guys we had, John being one of those, and that we asked the question about, is your dream still going to the NFL? Those guys said, we're not even worried about that right now. We're worried about this season. The focus on this football team, and I think it's been there all year long, has just been really something impressive, at least to bystanders like me that watch the games and watch you guys perform.
Well, we try to keep them grounded and in the now and what they're doing now, and tell them. And it is true. I mean, just do what you can do it well as you can, and things will work out for you. So they've been great about that. Like you said, they come to practice and have good practice, trying to have a good practice every day, and that's, you didn't always get that in the NFL. So it's pretty neat to have this group.
Absolutely. San Antonio Brahmas head coach Wade Phillips joining us here on the Blitz Wednesdays with Wade, as we talk to Wade Phillips every Wednesday at this time. Coach, the NFL announced today that they're going to do a trial throughout the preseason with the electronic first down measuring, like what you guys use in the UFL. What are some other things that you've seen this year in the UFL, the innovative stuff that you think would work and should happen at the NFL level?
Well, they're already using the XFL kickoff that we used last year. So and they're going more and more. They've already started it some. They don't tell everybody, but they've already started overruling from the booth, wherever the booth is. But they've overruled officiating during games last year. I noticed some in the NFL, like Dean Blandino does in our games. They've already kind of started that, and I think they'll work more and more that, on completions, non-completions, and all those things, and overturning certain things from New York or wherever they're probably from New York and NFL. So I think that innovation is a really big deal.
Well, I do too, Wade, and quite frankly, I was surprised by it. Why do you think the NFL is so slow in making some of these changes?
Well, yeah, I mean, they don't want to just jump out. And they want to gradually go into things, which I don't blame them. You got a great product. It's, number one in everything, basically, as far as TV is concerned. So I think they just don't want to mess it up either. Just make wholesale changes quickly and their audience who already loves the game, alienate some of them.
Wade Phillips here on the Blitz. I've got one for the suggestion box when you guys have your post-UFL meetings, and you might already have this because of what happened on Sunday. You bring up Dean Blandino, and you challenge a play late in the fourth quarter, and it was a ticky-tack pass interference call, and Dean Blandino's on the screen in the Alamo Dome, trying to explain what he's seeing. And, everybody in the dome, including you, is disagreeing with him. Hell, you challenged the play. I think when there is a challenge, the coach should be allowed to communicate directly with Dean Blandino on what you're seeing. So when he's obviously wrong on the screen, you could point out why he is wrong and get the call in your favor. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. And I doubt that we'll be able to get it in, but yeah, he was still wrong on that. So, but that's going to happen. So that's even with officials, things they're not going to always get it correct. But you have a chance with a guy, and Dean Blandino is great. He knows all the rules. He knows them inside and out. And I'd rather him overall be doing it than official that's not as trained as he is, and be able to do it by watching replay and at least get close to getting it right a lot more times. More times we get everything right, whether it's for us or against us. That's the way the game ought to be played.
Well, what did you see for the challenge that if you could have communicated with Dean, who you say you still got it wrong, where you could have said, no, Dean, look, here's why I'm challenging. I mean, like I would love, as much as the open communication is with the league and the interviews that you have to do, you challenge it. I would love to see put the headsets on Wade Phillips and talk it through. Even if, Dean's strong enough, if he believes it, he's still going to tell you you're wrong. But I think that'd be great television.
Yeah, well, I don't know about TV, but I know coaches would argue that they're right every time. But actually on the play, they called it, and it basically an illegal pick. But the guy that ran into our guy was not covering the tight end who scored the touchdown. It didn't have anything to do with the play itself, as far as us catching the ball and going into the end zone. And if you're going to call a pick, then it's got to be on the guy that, it's like in basketball, I guess. If you screen the guy and the guy goes around, the guy that's covering him, you screen the guy that's covering him. That's one thing. But if you just stop like our guy did, and a guy that wasn't covering our guy ran into him, and you to me that wasn't a foul, and it shouldn't have been, and I still don't think it was, but they called it.
Love the passion that you have on the field. All right, Coach, you got to answer our trivia question. we know Bum, we know you. Who's the third?
Well, the third is my son Wes, who is the offensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings.
And we had a quick winner on that one, too. 75 years of Phillips's coaching in the National Football League, which is awesome. And right now we've got one coaching in the UFL trying to get to the playoffs. And again, this week's game is important because, as Wade said, the home playoff game, because otherwise you could have 3 straight trips to St. Louis. The final regular season game next week, if you don't get home field, the playoff game, and then after you beat the Battlehawks in the playoffs, the championship game is going to be there. That's right. You might rent an apartment, short-term rental up there and just keep the team out there. So win this week so we can get that home playoff game.
Okay, let's do that.
Awesome. Coach Phillips, I know you got to get to that team meeting. Appreciate you jumping on with Wednesdays with Wade.
Man. Thanks, Wade.
Good luck this week against the Birmingham Stallions. Again, final home regular season game. Still hope of a playoff game.
Absolutely.
And they're doing a yellow out. The UFL.com promo code yellow, ticket and yellow T-shirt that the guys were wearing the other day. Pack the Dome this Saturday night. It's going to be a lot of fun against the undefeated Birmingham Stallions.